Hi, friends. It's Pastor Jim. I'm standing at the north entryway to our church, which is the entry off the alley. And the door goes into the building right by the kitchen here. And you see I'm in the dumpster area, and the gas pipes, which were rerouted a few years ago, are now going into the building here. We've got some problems with bricks and mortar out in this part of the building. After many years of slow settling, we've got some cracks and some shifting going on, so we've got some plans to address it. And I'm going to have my friend Chris Kuehnel, a member of our church, talk to you. He's a member of our board of Buildings and Grounds, trustees of Buildings and Grounds, and he and Jeff Fish, the chairman, and others on that board have been working over the recent years thinking about what can we do, what are priorities, and how can we address the settling. So Chris is coming right now. Hey, it's Chris.
How are you doing?
I'm good.
Ready to check out a construction site here.
Yeah, good. I'm going to back up, keep my social distancing here.
All right.
And then I'll give you a microphone here.
All right, perfect. All right. Hello there. My name's Chris Kuehnel, and I'm on the Buildings and Grounds group here at FCC. And I thought I'd give you a little explanation of our North Side project, as we call it, which is really two different projects we've been working on for about a year in the concepts and some of the details of it. A few things still to be worked out. About half the project will be done yet this fall is our plan, and the other half will be next summer or next fall, the follow through on it. So, little background, our building was built on more or less a landfill, and there are deep pilings that go down 60 or 100 foot down in the ground to hit solid ground. And that's what keeps the building really afloat and from breaking apart as it settles, as the landfill sort of collapses underneath us. So all of that's great for the main building. That's holding up really well. The last deep footings are right here to my left, right here. After that, there was this addition of the canopy and what we call the north closet, which is the big storage space on the north side of Lucas. Those were added later. And the architects on those felt if they put in a big enough footing that it would float on this soil and be okay. Sadly, it's not that way. So it's kind of sinking. And that's what we're working on, is what to do about that sinking and where we take it from here. So you might recognize these that once were columns going down here. These sank about 4 inches in the last 25 years. Meaning that the outer part of the canopy here was 6 inches lower than when it started. And in fact, twice I've had to move this gutter because the water was running the wrong way as the top of it came down. So I'll tell you a little bit more about this. Part of it is related to this big wall next to the dumpsters. You may notice here, this black column is properly vertical and is at the same level it was built on. But what you see here is this wall tipping. The top of it's come in almost 6 inches and it's starting to fall apart. You see the cracks here and all the way through. And the whole thing, if we keep going, well, eventually I guess it would tip into the dumpsters. But our goal is to stabilize it before that happens. And in fact, on this part of the project, we're going to remove the wall. So this wall will be coming out in the next 10 days. As will all of this flat concrete that I'm standing on, almost all the way back to the north doors. Part of it is because it's been sinking. The detail here, though, is because of how it's been shifting, it no longer meets the federal requirements for a voting polling place. So the feds came in, looked at all the measurements, looked at the grades for ADA and accessibility, and said, you're not up to snuff, we need to improve this. Of course, they can't force us to do it, but what it's meant is every time that there's been polling, the city has to bring in a portable ramp for people to be able to walk up and meet the requirement. So part of our goal here is to redo all of this so that it has the right slope and works to everyone's advantage. All right, this is one of my favorite views. If you look here at the wall, it used to be level with our roof. You can see that the east end has sank almost 8 inches. And the whole closet here This other wall that has our storage space behind it, that is sunk about 8 inches as well. So for next year, we've already had the soil engineering done. They bored down, they did the samples, they did the testing, and we have a proposal to put in deep screws actually down into the ground until they hit enough resistance to know that they can carry the weight of this, and then it gets jacked up and permanently placed with stainless rods to support it. So that's a much bigger project, and we've opted to do that next year before it falls off the building. If it continues, we're going to have some other structural problems. So we hope we can get to it before then. So I'll show you the project that we've decided to take on ourselves before the flat work and before this for next year, over here at the canopy where you saw those posts cut off. So again, this was sinking, so we put these temporary posts in here with the screw jacks on them, and that's sort of holding it up, but it's mostly putting it back in the position that it used to be at. So we cut these columns off, we removed it here at the base, and just today we've put in some little rods, and we're going to have just a small concrete pier coming up here and the steel on top of that. That should give us a solid footing for probably 10 years, and it may continue to sink, but with our design we'll be able to compensate for that, hopefully without wrecking the structure. As it sinks, we'll be able to readjust the height on it. So I think it's going to be a fun, good project, and we should be done with this part of it by next week when they start the flat work. All of this concrete will be ripped out, and for perhaps as long as a week or more, this will just be a graveled entryway here. It's a good time with COVID to be doing a project like this. After that, this will all be relayed, and the asphalt to be redone to come up to a grade so that we don't need any railings anywhere, and the snowplow will be able to go over everything. So we kind of addressed all the issues with it, and I think it's going to work out really well. Thanks for your support, and we look forward to showing you the results.